All right, 172 cases, you've heard me say that in New South Wales. 60 of them, though, were out and about in the community while infectious. And the Premier, Gladys Berejiklian, says she stands by her claim, though, that contact tracers have not lost control of the outbreak. Well, wrong, says the Vice President of the Australian Medical Association. According to Dr Chris Moy, New South Wales contact tracers never stood a chance in their battle to contain the Delta variant. He joins me now. Dr Moy, thank you for your time. Where to now for New South Wales?
New South Wales is in a really difficult position because my comment was really the fact that unfortunately at every step here there was a misjudgment of the settings that they needed as far as restrictions to slow down COVID enough so that the contact tracers could keep up. So, I mean, I think it's become quite clear that Delta is different. It's much more infectious. And from the very start, unfortunately, the decision-making has really basically let down the contact tracers because each time COVID just outran them at every step. So they were unfortunately several steps behind COVID every time. Now we're in a really difficult position, really difficult, because now, unfortunately, we've got this pretty significant lockdown. We've got about bits, but the problem is now is that even with the lockdown, with people going out for essential, work and also going out for essential needs, they're getting infected because there's so much COVID out there. And really, you're caught because really, with every day, not only are there more cases, there's more cases in the community. So the contact tracers are really done, and especially with the news today that it was actually a shopping centre and exposure for many days. So really, at the moment, it is really difficult, and it's a stalemate or just holding down, a volcano that could pop. And while you're really trying to stop the number of people ending up in hospital until you can vaccinate enough people at some stage.
Well, isn't this the argument, though, for the rest of the country, states that have got excess capacity, or not excess, but capacity of Pfizer? Shouldn't they all be sending all those that stock to Sydney? Isn't that the priority?
Look, it is a little bit of both, I think. I will say that the states are in a bit of a bind because now they've had a threat of COVID. I'm in South Australia and Victoria, and we'll talk about Victoria. I mean, we've just basically had very near-miss situations with really rapid decision-making, and we feel the threat here. So that we do need to keep vaccinating the population because the same thing could happen to us in a blink. On the other hand, it would be nice, and I do feel that, notwithstanding some resentment about some of the attitude that maybe New South Wales has had to some of the other states, that I do think we need to get back to the fact that we are one country, and New South Wales and Sydney in particular is in a lot of trouble, and the people of Sydney-siders need to be backed in on this. And I think we as a country should be viewing it that way and let bygones be bygones and actually work together as much as we can. So whatever we can do, I think we should be sending to Sydney to help out. Having said that, I think Sydney-siders also need to keep going with vaccinating with AstraZeneca as well, which I think whatever people maybe had a distorted view of AstraZeneca, is still a really good vaccine. It saved the UK. Anybody from the UK will wonder why we've got this view of it. And, the only, how they talk about the only camera that's any use to is the one with you. Well, the only vaccine that's useful is the one in your arm. And I think anybody in Sydney at the moment has seen the number of people in hospital, especially younger people, should be thinking that at the moment.
Oh, look, I think you're absolutely right on AstraZeneca, but I guess the issue is the medical fraternity, the medical experts at Targi and others gave conflicting advice there for a number of months, and I think the people are spooked. And there's a point, I know it in politics, there's a point when you're communicating with the public, they will make up their mind and they'll stop listening. So I think that's where we are with AstraZeneca, although I think in the eye of the storm in Sydney, that's moving a little bit more now than it has been in the past. Chris Moy, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.